came to India, he, before coming, had this idea that the Quad could be an effective way of dealing with the challenges. There was actually a Quad meeting, my memory serves me right, in Manila in 2007. Then, as you say, it didn't work out. If you ask me why didn't it work out, as opposed to what happened 10 years later, because it was revived 10 years later, 2017, at the level of undersecretaries, vice ministers. I was foreign secretary then. 17, it was revived. Then 19, it became a foreign minister's level, and when the Biden administration came in 21, it became a summit level. So what's the difference between 17, 19, 21 as opposed to 2007? One, I think there was greater strategic clarity on the part of all the countries concerned. Two, our own inter-se relations changed during this period. If I were to look at India's ties with the US, it became much deeper. With Japan also it grew, and I think the real big change has been in the last decade with Australia. So in a way, Quad is working in 2023, partly, as I said, because we have greater strategic clarity. I also think we have leaderships with a greater sense of purpose, who are less encumbered by baggage. But to me, a big difference is actually our inter-se relationship, which has today become so much more confident and so much deeper. So, in fact, the one point I would differ with Minister Hayashi, actually I hope one day it will be 1111, the 1111.
When you walked in, all of you seemed quite at ease, and there was a bit of a relaxed feel, vibe to it.
There's always a relaxed feel when we meet.
So, what did you discuss inside the room?
A lot of things, but if my colleagues would indulge me, we actually today captured some of our discussions in the form of a statement. I think that statement would have been put out or will be put out. So if you ask me what were the new things which came out today, we agreed on a counter-terrorism working group. We agreed on cooperating more closely with the Indian Ocean Rim Association. We agreed that there would be we had earlier worked out a HADR initiative. So the standard operating procedures for that, which I think the military people would obviously see as a prerequisite for their cooperation. I think we coordinated on the UN to make sure that the processes of the UN are respected, and the workings of the UN stay true to its spirit. I was personally happy that there was a stronger expression of support from all of us collectively to the reform of the UN, to the fact that there would be intergovernmental negotiations on the reform. I also see that when it comes to sustainable development goals, which all of us are committed to, we believe that they should be pursued comprehensively, not cherry-picked for political convenience. We will be doing a maritime security working group very shortly in Washington, and we discussed, among other things, one of the outcomes we agreed on was that the listings of terrorists, the counter-terrorism side listings should not be politicized. So these were some of the outcomes. So I mean, there were a lot of things which I can't tell you. But this is the public side of what we can tell you. So I thought collectively I should be putting it out.
And how do you respond to this common refrain that most politicians seem to indulge in from the Quad countries, that this is not against anyone, we are not a security grouping, we are not a military grouping. Why are we apologetic?
No, I don't think, look, we are not apologetic. I do believe, because I keep reminding people of 2004, because to me, if your origins are in common good, there's an innate virtue in your existence. Okay? So, we do stand for something. What I would not like to be defined as is standing against something or somebody, because that diminishes me. That makes it out as though some other people are the center of the world and I'm only there to be for them or against them. I don't think, actually I think I'm the center of the world, but that's a different matter.
Okay, I'm going to turn to, as is custom here, I'm going to turn to our young fellows. We have 48 young fellows from 33 countries who are spending 2 weeks with us, and typically we go to a couple of them for every session to hear their thoughts, their questions for all of you. So I'll turn to first to Teesta and then to Kiritbir. Teesta, introduce yourself very briefly.
Good morning, ministers. My name is Teesta Prakash, and I'm from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute in Canberra. And my question to you is, how do we build a regional consensus in the Indo-Pacific, given the 4 Quad countries sit on the periphery of the Indo-Pacific? How do we then include Southeast Asia? How do we bring the Pacific Islands with us to really sort of create a regional narrative for what is not a security perhaps, but an economic architecture? How do we bring the region along with the 4 Quad countries? Thank you.
And can I just add to that, because all of you have also invoked the term, look, all of you have started speaking like each other, and that worries me. All of you say ASEAN centrality.
That really makes me happy.
Okay. You say ASEAN centrality, and we keep thinking, what does that really mean? Does it mean that beautiful flower arrangement in the middle of the room when 4 of you are sitting? What does it really mean? So, sorry, the second question, Kiritbir. Let me go to the second question and then I'll come to you. Can we take the second question?
Thanks, Samir and panelists. I'm Kiritbir Chahal. I work for the British government. Similar question